It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Yeah, lot of controversy that do not disturb me. Got dreams of a million, cannot defer me. Got a ring on my finger, I retired my jersey. Fuck, nigga, y'all suck like the plot of Kirby. I'm him. All black on the scene, doing me high. No, I got the game covered like knee highs. I be killing on my foes like FIFA. Flows on kit like FIFA. Fila, E-I-O. Green on me like G.I. Joe. Hold my chest like a peacock glow. Southside nigga with an east side hoe. Hitting at the chicken number 3 combo. Type of nigga lead E.B. John Doe. 3D Camp Creek on the creek zone 4. With a nigga play street. Leave his cheeks on the floor. Can't speak no more. First verse in surgery, it's only me versus me. Nobody else hurting me. I burn niggas to the 3rd degree. Like Jazzo, niggas certainly. The best nigga that rap, I don't mean just virtually. These are the Fojo worker bees. I flex up like Hercules. I hit a nigga in the shit so hard that it hurt to sneeze. It's Nolan.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. In this video, we're going to be getting into these two new Roc Nation lawsuits that are coming from two models who participated in Megan Thee Stallion's Hot Girl Summer Swimwear Photoshoot and launch, okay? So apparently they're suing Roc Nation because they feel that their image and their photos were improperly used and used outside of the scope of what was originally outlined in their contract, okay? So allegedly, these two young ladies who are models, I believe they're based in New York, they were recruited by Roc Nation to come shoot for the photo shoot for Megan Thee Stallion. They were paid somewhere between $5,000 to $10,000 a piece. And we're going to get to the lawsuits and the actual paperwork. And it was their understanding that these photos were only supposed to be used for social media. Okay? They allege that the photos have been used on billboards and numerous other outlets to promote the swimwear line outside of the scope of what their contract details. Therefore, they're suing for breach of contract. They're suing for improper usage of their image and likeness. And they're suing for intentional infliction of emotional distress as well. Okay? So let's get to this. And I want to make it very clear the distinction between Roc Nation and Megan Thee Stallion. Although this is for Megan Thee Stallion, right? This was her line. That was her collaboration with Walmart. But she is not a defendant. She's not being sued. It's only Roc Nation, right? Because they did their business with Roc Nation. So just be clear. Megan is not being sued. She will not have to answer to this. She may perhaps have to submit some type of declaration or deposition at some point, since it was on behalf of her clothing brand and collab with Walmart. But outside of that, she's not going to have to incur damages on this. All right. So this filing is from Miss Tanoya Wade. Okay. And they say plaintiff is a professional model whose likeness has been featured in advertisements throughout the world. The use of plaintiff's likeness has significant commercial value. Roc Nation claims to be the world's preeminent entertainment company. Roc Nation describes itself as a full-service organization supporting our diverse roster of talent via artist management, music publishing, touring, production, strategic brand and development, and beyond. On information and belief, Roc Nation is a subsidiary of Live Nation Entertainment. I do believe that Roc Nation may have separated themselves from Live Nation in that aspect, but don't quote me on that. Roc Nation's total annual revenue is not publicly disclosed, but estimates vary from $95.1 million to $233.6 million, or even $287.3 million, depending on the source and what is included. Okay? So they're noting just how profitable, or I won't even say profitable, but what type of money Roc Nation generates based on all of their different mediums and verticals. Roc Nation communicated with plaintiff's modeling agency, State Management, that it was confirming plaintiff to be photographed for Roc Nation's advertising and marketing campaign for Megan Thee Stallion's Hot Girl Summer Swimwear. On April 30th, 2025, plaintiff was photographed by Roc Nation. Roc Nation promised to pay plaintiff $8,700 in wages for her work at the photo shoot, plus an agency fee to be paid to State Management. Plaintiff granted consent to Roc Nation for a limited use of her likeness in Roc Nation's advertising campaign. The consent to use plaintiff's likeness was limited to social media. Defendant knew that it did not have the consent to use plaintiff's likeness beyond social media. Defendant thereafter used plaintiff's likeness on physical public billboards, including a billboard in Hollywood, California, targeting California consumers, and similar billboards in at least 3 other cities in the United States outside of California. Defendant used plaintiff's likeness without her consent as a brand representative targeting residents in California, the United States, and the world. Now, what I find to be very interesting in looking at this situation is Miss Tanoya in particular. Her image was definitely used. I didn't see the billboard. I can't attest to the billboard usage. But I do know her image is still used today on the Walmart website for the Hot Girl Summer Swimwear line. She's the primary model along with another young lady when you go and try to buy these swimwear products. She's also been used on numerous websites because they took those photos and repurposed them for press releases and stuff like that. So ultimately, this is going to come down to what's actually detailed in the contract, if she may have misunderstood what the contract represented, or if Roc Nation absolutely did go beyond the scope of what was agreed upon. I don't know. I can't say. Okay, so first cause of action is breach of contract. All previous allegations are realleged and incorporated herein by reference. Plaintiff and defendant entered into a valid and binding contract in the form of plaintiff providing consent to Roc Nation for the limited use of plaintiff's likeness in Roc Nation's advertising. Plaintiff performed or substantially performed all or substantially all of the significant things that the contract required plaintiff to do or was excused from such performance, namely plaintiff provided her services and was photographed by Roc Nation. Defendant breached the contract by using plaintiff's likeness beyond the scope of contractual consent. Plaintiff has been damaged as a direct and proximate result of defendant's conduct in an amount to be determined. All right. It is established that she is asking for a payout in excess of $75,000. However, we do not know an exact number. Okay, I want to be very clear about that because sometimes people see that 75,000. I didn't go over it because it's in an area that I didn't feel like reading. But it's in excess of 75,000, but an amount to be determined. Second cause of action, common law misappropriation of likeness against Roc Nation. Again, all previous allegations are realleged and incorporated herein by reference. Defendant used plaintiff's likeness to promote, market, and advertise defendant's products without plaintiff's authorization or consent. Defendant specifically made a conscious, deliberate decision to print, reprint, use, reuse, publish, and republish plaintiff's likeness in marketing, promotional, and advertising materials within the past 2 years without plaintiff's consent. Defendant did not have a license, authorization, or consent to use plaintiff's likeness in the manner it used plaintiff's likeness, i.e. on billboards. Now, what I find interesting is y'all say within the last 2 years, to my knowledge, the Hot Girl Summer Swimwear line was launched this year. But don't quote me on that. I could have swore it was a 2025 thing. Defendant did not have a license, authorization, or consent to use plaintiff's likeness in the manner it used plaintiff's likeness, i.e. on billboards. Defendant's knowing use of plaintiff's likeness to promote defendant's products was to defendant commercial or other benefit. As a proximate result of the foregoing, plaintiff has suffered actual damages, including emotional distress damages, in an amount to be proved at trial. In addition, defendant has been unjustly enriched by its use of plaintiff's likeness. Therefore, plaintiff seeks disgorgement of profits and or imposition of a constructive trust on the monies obtained by defendant from the unauthorized use. So she's saying that they've made extra money off of her image because, again, she claims that they were only supposed to use her photos on social media. So she wants to know how much money they made in general, and she would like to receive the difference. Defendant knew that it needed plaintiff's consent to use plaintiff's likeness for commercial purposes. Roc Nation had a limited license to use plaintiff's likeness from the April 30th, 2025 photo shoot. There we have it. How you gonna say for the last 2 years and it ain't even really been a whole 6 months? Or maybe it has been 6 months. But it ain't been a whole year for sure, for sure. Defendant knew that it did not have plaintiff's consent and did not make any attempt to notify plaintiff that plaintiff's likeness will be used without plaintiff's consent. Instead, defendant intentionally used plaintiff's likeness without plaintiff's consent, knowing defendant did not have plaintiff's consent. As such, defendant's conduct, as described herein, was done with a conscious disregard of plaintiff's rights, with the intent to vex, annoy, and or harass plaintiff, and to unjustly profit from the use of plaintiff's likeness. So they're alleging that Roc Nation had some sort of plan to fuck with her by using her image outside the allegedly agreed use. Such conduct was unauthorized and constitutes oppression, fraud, and or malice, entitling plaintiff to an award of punitive damages in an amount appropriate to punish or set an example of defendant in an amount to be determined at trial. Okay? So that's the second cause of action. And the third here is false endorsement, false advertising under the Lanham Act. All previous allegations are realleged and incorporated herein by reference. Defendant used plaintiff's likeness to promote, market, and advertise defendant's products without plaintiff's authorization or consent. Defendant specifically made a conscious, deliberate decision to print, reprint, use, reuse, publish, and republish plaintiff's likeness in marketing, promotional, and advertising materials within the past 2 years without plaintiff's consent. Defendant did not have a license, authorization, or consent to use plaintiff's likeness in the manner it used plaintiff's likeness, i.e., on billboards. Defendant's knowing use of plaintiff's likeness to promote defendant's products was to defendant's commercial or other benefit. Defendant's use of plaintiff's likeness beyond the agreed scope falsely implies plaintiff's endorsement or affiliation with Roc Nation, misleading consumers in violation of Section 43A of the Lanham Act. More specifically, defendant made a false statement of fact, i.e., that plaintiff consented to and endorsed defendant's advertisement of plaintiff's likeness on billboards and a commercial advertisement about defendant's own or another products. The statement, well, hold on. So you're saying that Roc Nation put out a false statement of fact? Where is that false statement published? Or is the statement of fact, the false statement of fact, based on them putting it in these other avenues against the contract? I just need to be briefed and clarified on what this false statement of fact includes. The statement actually deceived or has the tendency to deceive a substantial segment of its audience. So y'all are leaning on this statement that I don't even know where the statement is. 3, the deception is material in that it is likely to influence the purchasing decision. Defendant caused the false statement to enter interstate commerce. And 5, plaintiff has been or is likely to be injured as a result of the false statement by a lessening of the goodwill associated with plaintiff's product, i.e., plaintiff's likeness. As a proximate result of the foregoing, plaintiff has suffered actual damages, including emotional distress damages in an amount to be proved at trial. In addition, defendant has been unjustly enriched by its use of plaintiff's likeness. Therefore, plaintiff seeks disgorgement of profits and or imposition of a constructive trust on the monies obtained by defendant from the unauthorized use. Plaintiff seeks an award of attorney's fees and costs pursuant to 15 U.S. Code 1117A. Okay? Actual damages, punitive damages, statutory damages, defendant's profits attributable to the unauthorized use, a constructive trust, attorney's fees and costs. They want interest, cost of suit, and for such other further and different legal and equitable relief as the court deems proper under the circumstances. Now, I would love to go ahead and just put this out. I know I have a few people that view my channel that work in law. And y'all answer me in the comments. Do you think that Megan Thee Stallion will eventually be named as a defendant in this lawsuit? Because to my understanding, and perhaps I would need to know a little bit more about the business structure of the Hot Girl Summer Swimwear line, but I would think that's her business, and therefore the profits from said business would be tied to what this young lady is alleging, or these two young ladies, because there's another lawsuit with pretty much verbatim verbiage. She's represented by the same lawyer that filed this one. We'll get to that in a moment. The only thing I'm going to really show is the first paragraph, because again, it's an identical lawsuit filed by the same firm. Because ultimately, Roc Nation, although they may have been the one who contracted these models and they may have written up the contract, the profits are not coming to Roc Nation. Roc Nation may perhaps receive a management fee from the swimwear line, but to my understanding, the swimwear line does not belong to Roc Nation for them to disgorge profits from. So again, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. Is it possible that Megan could be added as a defendant to this? So here we have the identical filing from Miss Janelle De La Cruz. All right. She's the other model that's suing. She's represented by the modeling agency Ford Models. Okay. So they say Roc Nation communicated with plaintiff's modeling agency Ford Models that it was confirming plaintiff to be photographed for Roc Nation's advertising and marketing campaign for Megan Thee Stallion's Hot Girl Summer Swimwear. On April 30th, 2025, plaintiff was photographed by Roc Nation. Okay. So this is all the same day, same photo shoot. Roc Nation promised to pay plaintiff $5,000 in wages for her work at the photo shoot, plus an agency fee to be paid to Ford Models. Okay, so she received $5,000 for her participation in this photo shoot, and Miss Tanoya received a little bit over $8,000 for her inclusion in the photo shoot. Right. Plaintiff granted consent to Roc Nation for a limited use of her likeness in Roc Nation's advertising campaign. The consent to use plaintiff's likeness was limited to social media. Defendant knew that it did not have the consent to use plaintiff's likeness beyond social media. All right. And once again, this is an identical filing, same everything except the name and the total amount that they were allegedly paid. Okay. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. This very well could be a simple cash grab attempt. They're both represented by the same folks. I would love to know if at some point their contracts will have to be produced in discovery. I don't know if they're going to put like a restraining order on that paperwork. Perhaps they may not want that information public. But I would love for at least some parts of that agreement to be made public in the filings at some point, so we can see what exactly they agreed to versus what they're alleging in these complaints. Okay, but that's what's going on. Roc Nation is being sued by two models who participated in Megan Thee Stallion's Hot Girl Summer Swimwear photo shoot. They're alleging that their image and likeness has been used outside the scope of what they agreed to on billboards. They say they've been uploaded, re-uploaded, and all types of different shit. And again, I can't say for sure that Miss Tanoya, her photos have been used on the Walmart website and across multiple publications where they've used those photos, right? Which could be the reason why she was paid an extra $3,000+ than the other young lady. But again, we won't know until they get a little bit further in the process. All right, let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. All right, much love and respect, y'all. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATS outside, nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your health care. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? What about this world out? The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stacks I built. I had to evolve and grow cause I could've